Good evening and welcome to Newsbite. I'm August Graham and making the headlines this week. Work gets started on the new St James's spire. Napoleon's death is commemorated at his tomb. The Brownies and Rainbows earn their badges and shape. And we take a look at the new youth club, Inventive, before your usual sports roundup. This was the talk of Jamestown on Wednesday as Adrian Duncan's team of contractors came through the island's capital to install the base of a new spire on St James's Church. Parking had been closed off earlier in the morning to give the crane access to the Grand Parade, but coming through Jamestown didn't seem to be much of a problem and people went onto the streets to watch. Others, though, were following the story online with the help of Twitter users such as Helena in Focus, who said, "Slow news day on St Helena, big crane passes tourist office." The crane headed down and waited for the base of the spire to arrive. This is the spire of the oldest Anglican church in the Southern Hemisphere and was taken down in 1980 when it was deemed unsafe. Now a lighter aluminium structure is going to be installed. And this is how they took it in. By sea on a barge. That seemed to go all right, but as Lisa Phillips pointed out online, they ran into trouble later at the archway as the base didn't seem to fit through. The St Helena in Focus Twitter account was back in action, saying that the government and tourism are now on top of all the fast breaking news on St Helena, and they promise more crane action soon. And it arrived in the form of Plan B, as Sean Burns put it on Twitter. After the break to let traffic pass, the crane that had come into town hours earlier arrived to the rescue and lifted the spire base over the arch. Fortunately, the governor's car had moved out at this point, otherwise it would have been crushed. After this, it was easier. The base was lifted up. A few minutes later, it was job done, as Sean Burns said. At this point, St Helena in Focus got a little carried away, tweeting, "Extra, extra, read all about it. Inspired," he said. "Big crane, big story." But it wasn't long before someone came along with a better story. As St Helena in Focus later pointed out, the Times of London tried to steal St Helena's thunder as the royal family revealed the name of their hamster. It's been almost 2 centuries since the world's most famous man at the time died. Then it was a big event, but this year the marking of the day drew less interest. However, on St Helena, people still came out in force to remember the dead emperor. Hannah Durnford reports.
Sunday afternoon saw the annual ceremony of the commemoration of the death of Napoleon. The event began with a prayer from Father Dale Bowers, followed by the last post and a minute's silence, in commemoration of the French Emperor. The ceremony continued with the singing of the British and French national anthem by the Bug-Eyed Tuners and the Brass Monkeys. Wreaths were laid as a tribute by Tom Holvey for the French nation and for St. Helena by Her Excellency Governor Lisa Phillips. A wreath was laid on behalf of La Fondation Napoleon by Susan O'Bey, and finally one was laid by Chris Pickard on behalf of St. Helena Tourism. The ceremony ended with a musical piece by the Brass Monkeys and a blessing.
The Half Tree Hollow Brownies and Rainbows took a visit to the Shape Centre at Sandy Bay on Tuesday, where they worked towards achieving their environmental badge, all while having fun with the trainees. There were lots of activities for the girls to get involved in. Some stayed indoors and were taught how to recycle coloured boxes to create beads which could then be used to make jewellery. Some made stationery holders out of lollipop sticks, while others arranged bouquets of flowers picked from Shape's garden. Liam Yon spoke to Brownie leader Gwen Wade.
We're the Half Tree Hollow Brownies along with the Rainbows from Half Tree Hollow, and we're here with Shape. The girls are working towards the environmental badge, and we arranged this meeting to be able to come out here in the holidays to be with the people out here.
So I see a lot of smiles on the kids' faces running around. What actually are they doing here today? What things have you been up to?
Right. Some of the girls are making bouquets because what I didn't know, it's Sharon George's anniversary of death today. So they're making little bouquets to take to the grave. There are some who are making beads, and a few are making some baskets from lollipop sticks.
So are the girls enjoying their day out here today?
They are very much so, yes. We was a bit doubtful at first because it was a bit wet, but now the weather has taken up, so hopefully we'll have now more fun.
Excellent. So now Alex Vanguard is getting out the keyboard, the trusty keyboard. Hopefully the sun's going to shine a little bit, and hopefully we're going to have a great rest of the day.
Yes, I hope so. We'll leave it to Alex now to do some singing for us.
The newest youth group on Ireland, Inventive, has been open throughout the school holidays to children who are interested in creative art. Hannah Durnford spoke to Teeny Lucy about the new organisation.
Inventive is a youth group that's been set up by Creative St. Helena. It's part of Creative St. Helena, and it's been funded by Safeguarding Children's Board here on the island. And basically, we are open on two evenings every weekend, and also in the school holidays. And as you can see, we've got kids that come here and they can do all sorts of things, but it's all to do with creative arts. So we're talking about art, music, drama, we do dance as well, crafting, scrapbooking, and everything in between. I mean, they've had some radio broadcast experience, and I'm sure they'll get more of that in the future. And they've made a short film as well. But on a sort of daily basis, we always have painting equipment here. We have lots and lots of board games, and it's great to see that young people these days still really enjoy. Yeah. We do cooking because we've got a little cooker that we have here in the Baptist Hall, and I've got two great helpers. I've got Keisha over there and I've got Gilly as well.
Okay.
And we have lots of projects going on all the time, like the sculpture work that Keisha's doing at the moment. We have people coming in, like Nolene came in and did nail art with them.
Okay.
And all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and do the children have to pay a fee at all?
No, it's completely free.
Okay.
It's absolutely free. All they need to do is register.
Yeah.
Parents have to register or carer. And once they're registered, they just come and go as they like.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, change. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, change.
Here now is your sports roundup with Damien O'Bey.
Gavin Crowley shot a nat 2 under par round of 66 to become Solomon's Challenge Cup champion on Sunday at Longwood Golf Club. Both Hensel Beard and Donald Bowers shot nat par rounds of 68, but Beard scooped second place honours after a countback. In Saturday's competition, Geoffrey Foxy Stevens picked up 36 Stableford points. Just 1 point further back was Gerald Whistler George on 35. Moving on to cricket. There were some exciting matches in the quarter-final stage of the Cricket Knockout Cup. In the first match, Rebels defeated Mustangs. Batting first, Brendan Leo struck an unbeaten 81 to see Rebels to an impressive 231 for 3 of 25 overs. On his return to the Mustangs side, Martin Plato picked up 1 wicket for 18 runs. Mustangs' run chase was less than successful, with only Antonio Green's contribution of 27 being notable. Brendan Leo was also impressive with the ball as well and took 3 wickets for just 9 runs as Mustangs were bowled for 113. The second match was a more competitive one. Dax Richards struck an unbeaten 111 as Zodiacs posted 186 from their 25 overs. Darren Duncan was the most successful St. Paul's bowler, picking up 2 for 37. Despite John Lambden taking 2 wickets for Zodiacs, St. Paul's completed a good run chase, reaching the required target with an over 2 spare. Cliff Richards' unbeaten 43 was the highest score. All-Stars edged a low-scoring thriller against Warriors in the third quarter-final. Greg Coleman scooped 3 wickets for just 8 runs as All-Stars ripped through the Warriors' batting lineup, dismissing them for 104. Sam Arms struck 22. Ross Henry began the run chase in typical fashion, striking 27 before Siobhan Leo bowled him. Simon Henry took 4 wickets for 20 runs, and All-Stars lost a total of 8 wickets before Greg Coleman hit the winning runs in the 19th over. The final fixture of the weekend was a one-sided affair as Pirates were thrashed by Lions. Pirates would have been feeling confident after defeating Jamestown Barracudas for the second time this season in the preliminary round. However, they produced a dismal performance against Lions. Both Philip Stroud and Scott Henry picked up 5-wicket hauls as Pirates were bowled for 42 runs. Lions reversed their batting order for the run chase. Caelan Crowley and Simon Scipio duly knocked off the score. That's it for the sports this weekend. Back to you, August.
Thanks, Damon. Well, that's all for this edition of Newsbite. Do tune in again next week for more top stories. I'm August Graham, and thank you very much for watching.